Alright, you guys, today I'm going to be reviewing for you guys, the people, the Avengers. It's been a long time coming, and I figure since I'm going to go see the Avengers Age of Ultron Thursday night, it is now Tuesday night, late Tuesday night. I figured I would review this film and try to get it up before I go see Age of Ultron. Let's talk about the Avengers. Alright, so the plot of this film. First off, it's written and directed by Joss Whedon. And if you guys don't know, Joss Whedon's the great mind behind Buffy, Firefly, Serenity, Angel. You know, he's that guy. And let's talk about the plot of the movie. We see Loki from Thor, brother of Thor actually, has come to Earth and he stole the Tesseract Q from Captain America the First Avenger from S.H.I.E.L.D., and he's using that to bring his Chitauri, which is an alien race, army, to Earth, so he can rule. He wants to rule Earth. He just wants to be king. And they, Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. gather up all the superheroes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe at this point, and to try to stop Loki. It's a simple plot, but let's talk about this. What do I think of the Avengers? Obviously, I fucking love this film so much. I consider myself a Marvel fanboy. I don't want to get into the whole Marvel DC argument in this review, but because I do like a good portion of DC stuff also. But I would consider myself more of a Marvel fanboy. I always have been. And to see this actually happen, again, like this review, it's been a long time coming. 2008 kicked it off with the first Iron Man movie. And the post-credit scene spoilers for the first Iron Man. Nick Fury walks in and says, "I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative." And I just looked at my buddies I was with at the time and I went, "Dude, there's going to be a fucking Avengers movie." And sure enough, in 2012, we got this. Let's talk about the cast. Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, a.k.a. Iron Man. What can I say about the dude that hasn't already been said by everybody else? The dude was born to play Tony Stark. He's great. And in fact, he's more than great. He's perfect for this role. Even Stan Lee himself had said that Robert Downey Jr. was born to play this role. Chris Evans as Captain America. At the end of the first Captain America movie took place in the 1940s. And at the end of the movies, again, spoilers, he wakes up in the modern age, and he meets Nick Fury. In this movie, he's still learning how to live in this modern age, because everything is so different than what he knew before from the 40s, and he's struggling a little bit, but slowly he's getting there. And I always liked Chris Evans as Captain America more than Human Torch, and I loved him as Human Torch, but I thought he did Steve Rogers a lot better than he did Human Torch. I'm not saying he did a bad Human Torch. Go watch my Fantastic Four reviews to hear me talk about that. Mark Ruffalo is playing Bruce Banner, a.k.a. the Hulk. Now, the Incredible Hulk, the movie starring Ed Norton, does take place in this universe, but he was recast in this film, playing Mark Ruffalo. What do I think of Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner? Excellent. I loved what Ruffalo brought to the role of Bruce Banner. He brought so much more to the character. You get so much more in depth a little bit in his character, and while he doesn't Hulk out as much as you want him to in the movie, you know, you're still into it. You still love Bruce Banner, so that's good. Chris Hemsworth as the Mighty Thor. You know, I think he was named like the sexiest man alive, like in 2012 or 2013 or something. I don't remember the exact year, but yeah, the dude's good looking. The dude looks like a god. You know, yeah, I mean, Chris Hemsworth as Thor is awesome. Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff, the Black Widow. Now, she does not have any superpowers. She's just a human assassin that works for S.H.I.E.L.D. She's really good. She has a Russian background, which we don't really get into too much yet at this point. But, you know, she kicks ass. say what you will about Iron Man 2. But when she went into the Hammer Industries building in Iron Man 2 and she's taking all those guards, you can't deny that she wasn't. She was a badass in that part. She brings that to this movie also. She is a badass throughout pretty much the whole movie. She's kicking ass all over the place. Jeremy Renner as Clint Barton, a.k.a. Hawkeye. Now, we've seen Hawkeye once before in the Marvel Cinematic Universe before this movie. He was in Thor briefly. He was in there for about maybe 5 minutes. And so we don't really get to see much of him. But in this movie, this was the character that was most underused, and a lot of fans were pissed off, including myself. I was pissed off at first, too, that Hawkeye wasn't really used all that well in this movie. He's, spoiler alert, he's been controlled by Loki for the majority of the movie, mind-controlled, and so he doesn't really get a chance to shine and show off, his skills. Again, not a superhero, just a guy who is very good with archery. But I'm hearing that Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye is definitely redeemed in Age of Ultron, so we'll see. Tom Hiddleston back as Loki. Again, this is another casting choice that was perfect. Tom Hiddleston just brings so much to the character of Loki. And even though he is the villain, Loki was always a villain that you can kind of sympathize with. He's very human. Even though he is a god, he's very humanized. And that carries to this movie also. Sam Jackson, fucking Nick Fury. What can I say about Sam Jackson that hasn't already been said? Then we also get, Kobe Smulders in here. Robin Sparkles. Robin Scherbatsky from How I Met Your Mother. She's playing Maria Hill in the film, which this was the first time we saw her as Maria Hill. And again, she doesn't do a whole lot in this particular movie, but when she's on screen, it's a nice feeling. And you also, of course, get Clark Gregg as Agent Phil Coulson, who he's Coulson. You watch all the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, and Coulson is always like the link that kind of, he's in almost all of them. He's missing through a few, but I absolutely love Coulson. Not a big fan of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, but personally. But, I always loved Clark Gregg as Agent Coulson. Even on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I always thought he was the strongest point of that show anyway. So, let's talk about the action scenes, because this is a very action-packed movie. There is a lot of downtime, a lot of good dialogue scenes, but when it is just dialogue, it's good dialogue, and you're into it the whole way through. I can honestly say, as of right now, Tuesday, April, whatever it is, 27th, 28th, something like that, as of today, this was the most fun I've ever had in a movie theater, because, me being who what I'm into, and, to see this with a crowd, and see all these heroes on the screen all together for the first time ever was phenomenal. Action scenes are great, really well shot. There's really, I really didn't notice any shaky cam at all in this movie. There's probably a little bit there, but I just didn't notice it in this particular movie, so... is this a perfect movie? No, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. It really is. If you guys have not watched the Avengers and you're into the superhero stuff, check it out. Do it immediately. Obviously, I'm going to give this movie an A+. And like all the Marvel movies, there is a credit scene that you're going to want to stick around for. There's one in the middle of the credits, and there's one at the end of the credits. It's just like a little fun thing. You don't have to stick around for the end credit scene, but I would recommend it. It's not like important to the story or anything, but make sure you watch that mid credit scene. It's awesome, and yeah, I absolutely love the Avengers. I'm giving it a high A+. And the whole, I do want to mention this, the whole banter between all the heroes, fantastic, brilliant. Because you would think, okay, all these people are so different, they shouldn't get along right away, and they don't. It takes a while for them to learn how to work together as a team, and I like that. I like that banter. I like them fighting with each other for a while. Those scenes were awesome. Like you got Cap and Iron Man and Thor in the park fighting, and yeah, you're getting into heated arguments with Cap and Tony, and it's great. It's awesome. Um, yeah, I absolutely love it. So many memorable scenes, so many memorable quotes. I mean, this movie's awesome. High A plus in my book. What do you guys think of the Avengers? It's pretty much universally loved. Is it my favorite comic book movie of all time? I'm gonna go ahead and say no. It's not my number one favorite, but it definitely is in the top three for sure. Absolutely love it. Check it out if you have not watched it. Um, yeah. Well, see you later.